This is Gerardo Del Real with Resource Stock Digest. I'm here with a true bear market success story. The junior miner junkie, Mr. David Erfle. David, how the heck are you?
Fantastic, always great to talk to you. I love this conference, it's fantastic.
It's a gorgeous backdrop. We're here at the 2019 Beaver Creek Precious Metal Summit. I joked that you are a true bear market success story, but we were talking off camera yesterday. And congratulations, you just bought a new place with some junior miner money.
Yes. I mean, all it takes is a couple in this sector. And if you get lucky with a couple and ride them to where they're going to go and get out at the right time, you can do really well.
Let's talk about your background a little bit. You have a very similar background as myself. Come from a little bit of a real estate background, somewhat self-taught, met some good people, were able to grow your business. Can you tell the people that aren't familiar with you a little bit about yourself?
Sure, yeah. Well, I don't have a real estate background, but I worked at UCLA,
right,
and I purchased all the phones and phone equipment for the university and maintained a storeroom where all the equipment was kept, and had a lot of time on my hands because I came in and kind of revamped the system to where I only had to work a couple hours a day. So I taught myself junior mining investing and sold my house in 2005.
That's
and
the background.
I don't recommend this at home. Don't recommend this at home.
I did the same thing, and that's why I said we have a very similar
okay,
real estate background.
There
That's
it
the
is.
connection, yes sir.
So I put all the money from my house sale into juniors. Like I said, I don't recommend this at home.
Right.
And did really well, and I've been doing this professionally ever since.
Right. So my story is very, very similar. It's quite fascinating. Talk to me a little bit about your approach, and then let's talk gold and commodities and where you think it's going. But let's start with a little bit about your approach, your due diligence process. What does that look like? What should the average speculator, maybe that's coming into the sector that's new and that's looking to duplicate the success that you've had, what should they be looking at when they're considering a buy on a company?
Well, as far as an early stage company, it's definitely management, it's definitely share structure, it's definitely the jurisdiction they're in. You want to make sure they got a big land package, it's got some blue sky, they got good targets, they got access to capital. That's a big one, because if they don't have access to capital, they're going to be wallowing around like a lot of these guys are right now. Because right now it's a bull market for some, but it's still a bear market for many.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree more. Let's talk about that new bull market. Gold is just dipped below 1,500. I think both you and I agree. Got a little bit ahead of itself.
Absolutely.
Do you think this decline continues, and what do you think are the support levels?
I do. I think we chop into the Fed next Thursday above 1480, and all depending on how the market reacts to what he has to say. I would still, personally, I'd still like to see that 1455 area tested. Because this thing got way overheated, and the higher it goes without getting a correction, the stronger the correction is.
Sure. So,
we had that GDX on a monthly basis at an RSI, a relative strength index, at 70. The last time it was there was 2008. So, which makes sense that it got overheated because it broke out of a huge 6-year base, so there was a lot of power there.
It was boring for 6 years. You didn't have the energy to kind of break out, right?
Exactly. Plus, the retail that's in this sector, they're coming into ETFs.
Right.
They're coming into GLD.
Absolutely.
We're not seeing the retail dollar coming in here yet. So I think once this pullback happens, ends, then you're going to see the juniors start to perform a little better after this correction ends.
Excellent. So near term, we both expect a correction. Let's talk mid to long term. We saw the ECB today. We knew that was coming. We've seen the BOJ. That's going to continue until it can't continue. What does it look like 3 years from now?
Oh, geez, 3 years from now. My crystal ball's broken, but I can try to hazard a guess here. I see the gold price over $2,000 by then, and I see the silver price, it's going to be at least $35 an ounce, I would expect. But what's the world going to look like at that time when we have those prices?
Comes with a consequence, right?
Exactly. I think the safe haven plays going forward during the next few years are going to be blue chip stocks paying a healthy dividend, the U.S. dollar, and gold.
Agreed.
All three going up together, being safe havens.
Great. Let's talk a couple of names you might recommend or names that you like.
Okay. As far as developers are concerned, developer explorers.
Let's start there.
Okay, I really like Orezone. I think it's still very undervalued here because of where it's at. They have a project in the finance stage in Burkina Faso.
Sure.
They've discovered some high-grade areas that they're drilling out right now. They have about 22 million cash. They have a lot of ounces that are economic at 1,300, and it looks really good as a possible takeover within the next 12 months.
Are they economic at 1,200?
No.
Okay.
They're not economic at 1,200.
So that would be your mitigate that risk by watching that level.
Absolutely, watching 1,400. You know, I mean, as far as I'm concerned, as long as gold holds 1,400, I'm happy.
Sure.
You know, I mean, the last thing I want to see is these wild predictions of gold going to 5,000 or 10,000. I mean, I'd rather see a steady climb like we saw during the last bull from 2001 to 2011, and climbing from that $1,400 base as opposed to resistance.
Do you think that's the future, though? Because I see a future where $200 gold price moves are going to be the norm.
Yeah, you're probably right, but I don't think that future is near term. I think it's longer term.
Agreed. Anything else you like out there?
Early stage, I just purchased something recently, and I just had a meeting with them today. What piqued my interest was they had a very attractive finance. They're called Radisson Minerals, and they're in the Cadillac Break area of Quebec, which is my favorite jurisdiction.
Sure.
Their project, the O'Brien Mine, it was at one point in the late 50s was the highest grade gold mine in Quebec.
Wow.
They stopped mining because they mined a little too close to the shaft and it caved, and that was that. But they were mining 15 grams per ton back then, and
that'll get it done today.
Yeah, exactly. They've got a small resource on it, about 300,000 ounces at over 7 grams per ton, and they just got a very attractive finance for a microcap. They raised $3 million in hard dollars with only a half warrant, and they got another $3 million in flow through. So. They've got a lot of shares out, 172 million. I'm not happy about that, but they're going to be drilling 20,000 meters at only 550 meters deep. You know, they've got LaRonde right next door, which is a mile.
Right.
It's mined down to a mile, and they've got the IM Gold mine right on the other side. They're right in the middle of that, so they're in a good district. You could see a gas station from the project. You know, it's only $120 a meter to drill, and if they're using hard dollars to drill, they get 33% back in the mail from the government. So I really like this project. I like the company, and we'll see what happens. It's the market cap's about 32 million right now, and they got the 20,000 meter drill program. They're going to have drill results coming out in October, and steady every 3 weeks into March. Mining permit in Q1 of 2020. And I am a shareholder, and I cover it in my subscription-based newsletter, so we'll see what happens.
Excellent. Let's talk about that subscription-based newsletter for people that want to follow your work, David. How can they?
JuniorMinerJunky.com, and I also write a weekly column for Kitco. It comes out on Fridays. And the subscription-based service is close to being filled. I think I have about 9 or 10 spaces left. I cap it at 250 because I give my subscribers a 24-hour notice before I buy something. I write up a report on it, send it out, so we all kind of try to buy it at the same time.
Got it. All that with shades on, guys. Thanks a lot, David. Appreciate it.
Thank you, buddy.
All right.